Welcome back to Northwind Aerial. Today I have a gear review for you. This is the Drone Deer Recovery 24-inch monitor hard case. I like to call it my basically portable command station. This has everything I need in it to set up a small little incident command post out in the middle of nowhere. If you use drones for clients or any sort of first responder program, you know the first thing people want to do is look over your shoulder and see what you're seeing through the eyes of the drone. And that can get kind of annoying, and at the worst of times can get very distracting. Something like this can really help alleviate a lot of those stresses. So to be completely open and honest, I purchased this piece of kit because Drone Deer Recovery was running a promotion where every dollar spent enters you into a raffle to win a Matrice 4T. I've sat on this for quite some time, and I decided now's the best time to put it out because their contest just closed today. But I wanted to put this out after the contest had already closed because I didn't want it to seem like I was trying to fish for something. So now that the contest is closed, I think it's a great time to review this. So first things first, I have several hours of use on this already. I have used it on several different trainings. I have used it on one pretty significant sized fire in my area. I've used it on one pretty significant search and rescue operation in my area, and both times it performed flawlessly. Being able to just leave this in my truck, pull it out, open it up, and have a perfect, nice, well-lit screen for all of my team or my clients to look at it and let me sit over on the other side was great. Really, really loved it. But like all gear, there's some great things, there's some bad things. So let's start with the great things first off. First off, this is a really solidly built case. It's pretty tough. It's quite heavy duty. Comes with two wheels on the back so you can pull it like a suitcase. Has a handle right here. Has an extendable handle on this other side that is kind of a finagly to get out. Like that. So you can pull it around like you would any sort of piece of luggage. Flip it around. So puts it in just like that. Handle right here. And it has these metal grommets right here that you can then put on a lock or something. If you're going to travel, in case you don't want anyone to get it open, these are pretty useful. They also lock right here. All you got to do is spin these, and then the clasps are completely locked, so you can't open it. That's pretty nice, just to make sure it doesn't pop open during travel. To open it up, simply go like that. And then you open it, and you see you have the 24-inch Samsung monitor. Looks pretty stock, looks pretty off the shelf. Fits in here perfectly. I really like it, but we'll get to the flaws in a second. Around the edge, we have a pretty good rubber seal to help keep it a little more watertight. You have this piece of padding, which is kind of flimsy. This off to the side. And then you've got a couple more different pieces of foam padding. When I first purchased this, I was planning on turning this into my entire Matrice 30T backpack gear to replace this hard case, essentially, because I'm missing two wheels from it. It wouldn't fit all of the drone stuff, but I found different uses for it. Until recently, I've been running my Starlink in here, keeping it in between these two foam pads that are sandwiched right here, but then I got a battery pack for it, and I've migrated my Starlink to a completely different case. In between this thin piece of foam and this thicker piece of foam is where I keep my laptop, because although this is a really good monitor, it's not a computer. It doesn't have any sort of computing processing software or anything like that. Carrying around a laptop, carrying around some sort of computer can work great in case you want to run something like ADIAT or Nova or Eagle Eyes or Locate, any sort of software you want to run to help you find colors, to help you scan through images. You're going to want some sort of computer, so a nice sturdy laptop fits in here perfectly. Underneath the laptop, we have that first piece of foam that I was talking about, which comes with all sorts of squares or rectangles, cubes, whatever you want to call them, that you can then pull out to make more room, build your own sort of box to keep your stuff in. I'm keeping it just like this because of what I keep in it. Underneath that first pad, you can see I have a bunch of different cables and cords. Those are all the charge cords plus the HDMI cord that then plugs into the drone controller. I also keep a capture card in here because with this I can connect the drone controller directly to my laptop as well to run Eagle Eye Scan and have it basically act as my co-pilot. I have my laptop charger, the charger for the case itself, and this is something that I really like, a very very long HDMI cable. This is about 20 or so feet, if I remember correctly, but it stretches quite a ways, which means I can hook this up to the controller and be standing a long ways away and be letting all of my command team, all of my clients, whoever needs to see through this, I can be way away from them, still able to answer them, but I don't have anyone holding over my shoulder, which is what this is all about. Then underneath all of that, we have the exact same piece of padding as that. In the rest of the case, you can see it just goes down, it's just plastic, and then we have a pretty sizable inverter and power supply right here that can supply both DC and AC power. You have two outlets, 110 volt, one powers the screen directly. You have three USB-Cs, or USB standard, sorry, plugins right there, plus DC power. It's pretty nice. To turn everything on, you simply hit the red power switch that you might have seen right there, and this will power on. And then this is just a direct feed, so we're going to plug this directly into our controller right now. The DJI RC Plus controllers will have a HDMI port on them. Some of the other controllers might have a micro HDMI port, so you'll have to get an adapter. So you can see, and then you're seeing exactly what's on my screen. So now you can see that it's exactly mirrored. Running off the camera, you can probably see maybe a little bit of latency between this camera and what you're seeing through the drone. Regardless, it's working pretty well. So in a nutshell, that is how this whole thing is set up. It's really good. It's really great. I'm sure there are better options out there on the market. I don't know which ones, but I'm sure there are. I want to be very clear, I really do enjoy this, but it definitely has some drawbacks that I am not a huge fan of. So, what I think is really great, the monitor is really clear. The latches are really sturdy. The whole case itself is really sturdy. The power bank is, I've never run it out of battery yet. I've come close, but only after many hours of usage. It's really nice. It's pretty pricey, and it has some flaws. So let's start going over the flaws right now. The first major flaw that I have is the monitor itself. For the price that this was, I feel like the monitor should have been mounted a little bit better. When this arrived, the monitor was completely detached from the lid of this case, which was not great. It was basically floating free, and all of the cables and everything were just hanging out there. I called and left a voice message, and I emailed Drone Deer Recovery asking what to do about it, and didn't hear anything back from them. To this day, I have not received a call or an email back from them. And it seems like I'm not the only one that had this sort of experience with basically being ghosted once I've purchased something from them. Taking a quick look at their Facebook reviews, multiple different agencies, multiple different people have had the exact same issue. So if you purchase one of these, don't expect any help once your credit card's gone through. In order to put this back on, I ended up basically having to take off these screws on the other side and putting everything back together and then screwing it all on. Let's talk about those screws for a second. These screws that hold it on right here, I know they don't market this as being waterproof, but when you're gonna sell a case like this, especially with that seal, people are going to expect it to be pretty weather resistant. There's no rubber seal on any of these screws, and the screws themselves have rusted. After one day of being left outside in the elements, the screws turn rusty. Not a great look. That definitely was one of the first things that made me start thinking, did I do the right thing in purchasing this? I don't regret my purchase, but those screws and the customer service definitely made me go, Going back into here, so you can see as I wiggle this, the monitor is not mounted all that great, and I can probably pry this off if I wanted to. When I'm spending $1,000, I expect something to be mounted pretty securely. This feels like it's one big drop away from popping back off and me having to do that whole process to put it back on. Another big problem I have is charging the power bank in here. It has a very small plug-in right here on this side. I'll use a different camera view to show it. It's really tough to get a charger into there. It does come with a car charger as well, but it runs into the same issue of it's just really tight in there. I'm also interested from the cooling aspect of it, where the fans are located. How long is it going to last? How many hours? How many years am I going to get out of this product? It seems like it's just kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of room for improvement in this. But all in all, I would recommend, if you don't have something like this whole command setup, I do recommend getting something like this command setup because it's helped me out significantly. If I was to redo this, would I go with a different brand? Probably, but I'd have to look at prices. I'd have to go look at something else. But I still think Drone Deer Recovery does a great job with their mission of helping reclaim hunted game that has been lost out into wilderness, making sure that meat doesn't go to spoilage, making sure that animal carcass is not wasted, because as hunters, that's the last thing we want. I did an entire video talking about the ethics of drones in hunting, and I still stand by those words that I think Drone Deer Recovery is doing a great job from everything that I've seen. This whole box has become completely invaluable to me. It's become a part of my everyday kit that I carry around with me everywhere I go. But it has some flaws that I really wish they would iron out, and I really wish they'd be a little more forthcoming with their customer service. If you're going to be selling something as expensive as drones and the gear that goes with them, talk to your customers once they've paid you. It's just the right thing to do. But regardless, I think it's going to kind of wrap it up for this whole review. This is a really great piece of kit. It's got some flaws, but it works. It works really, really well. It is tried, it is true, it has been battle tested and battle proven on multiple different emergency callouts, and for just inspecting stuff with the drone. I think it's really great. Let me know what you guys think of this. Let me know what you guys think of Drone Deer Recovery. Let me know what you guys are running in your vehicles for your various emergency responses, or your clients, or whatever you need an extra screen in your truck for when you're out flying a drone. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.